Hello, welcome to the Black Salt Mirror. I will be doing a tarot reading for you today. Trying to make sure we're centered here. I'm going to be using the Woven Path Tarot, which is eager today, apparently. That's way too many cards, guys. All right, let's see. There's a shift in the weather coming, and with it a strange chaotic energy. I'm reminded of Puck. That's what it feels like, with the colors and the semblance of what I'm picking up on. So if you notice that and understand that to be happening, let me know. I think I got all the cards. Okay. We have the Ace of Coins in reverse. They're saying don't start anything new. You've picked your thing, stay with it, stay the course, let it grow. The ivy here is very fast growing, but it's not instantaneous. And like all plants, it needs to root down and take in water and nutrients and spread and grab onto the walls and climb, or I guess it's a wall in this case. Although it is pretty fast, and ivy is really good at oxygen enriching. It will freshen air, take out toxins, make the air more oxygen rich. It's good for breathing. Queen of Cups in reverse. Don't get lost in your feelings. Stay above it. You notice that there's waves breaking behind her, but they're not bothering her because she is sovereign. She's even got her eyes closed, like she's meditating, like she can feel the sun through all of it as the greater purpose. They're saying the sun is the guiding light to your greater purpose, to like why you're doing the things that you're doing, and you're following this joy. And there are going to be waves crashing around you, and there are going to be people close to you who are going to try to come in and shake things up because they don't like the sovereignty that you're exhibiting or the peace that you found by distancing or by saying no to things, because their entire paradigm revolves around the fact that everyone has to dance when the master snaps his fingers. And you've finally figured out that you don't have to do that. You can say no thanks. And if everyone else is dancing, you get away with it, and they get angry. Because instead of choosing not to dance and doing like you've done, they want you to have to suffer the way that they do. And there will always be people like this. And there will always be situations where they'll be more angry at you for saying no to the toxicity than they are at the toxicity. People are averse to change, particularly unhealed people, and they will fight for a broken system. And they will fight to keep a toxic environment, even when a new, better one is presented to themselves, because of the triggers that it makes them feel about their own choices and their own freedom and autonomy and power. Because people stay in toxic environments to remind themselves about the power that they've gained within it. One of the best ways to keep people in line is to pick a couple scapegoats, one or two, and to treat everyone else fairly, and to make it, you're not the one being punished, you're not the one I don't like. And then a lot of people who seek approval, who seek validation, who seek some kind of pecking order from which they can derive a sense of self from, because they don't have it inherently within them, they will support a system and where they're not the bottom rung, where they're liked, even though it's inherent in the system that the only reason they're liked is because it only works if the minority are being punished and everyone else can think not me. and stand by and watch as everything crumbles around them. And they say, not me. But they're telling me it's going to be them. And not only is it going to be them, but they're going to get punished for supporting the persecution. Page of Coins in reverse, third reverse card. There he is. This is the new world. This is the valley. This is all new growth. This looks like spring. These are wildflowers, so they don't stay for long. They exist solely to be beautiful, to attract pollinators, to take their seeds, to plant them, and then the purpose of the flowers ended, and they're frequently eaten, or they wilt, and they put their nutrients back into the roots, which are the parts of the flowers that stay. And you notice how young the page looks. This is all very new. It's a new reality, it's a new existence. Many people will struggle with it, but not you. The mountains are behind you. See the mountains in the back? The mountains are hardship and things that other people have to, well, anyone, in this case, it's other people that are gonna have to do it. They're gonna have to overcome the mountain, up and down. You don't get to slide down the other side. You have to still climb down. Maybe there's a path, but you're in the valley already. You're tending to the new growth. Let's see what else we've got. This one wants to come, and that also came with the second card. More on the ground. The Wheel of Fortune. I think it was upside down, facing me on the ground, but the wheel has already turned. You have shed your skin. Other people are going to go through more shifting because they're not here yet. It's like we've come to the destination. They've still got a layover going on. But the wheel doesn't shift for everyone the same. The wheel shifts when you're ready, when you've reached the next portal. It's kind of like a maze. You have to walk to the next thing that you have to go through, the next obstacle, the next lesson. So everyone does it at their own time, and you've been through the last one. And now you're going to stay, things are going to stay very much the same while everyone else catches up. So take this opportunity to really enjoy yourself, to really nest in, they're saying. Not a phrase I use, but I forgot to put my anointing oil on. I always put something on, perfume, oil. It brings me back to scent. You can build rituals with scent. This one is called Mana Forest. It's by the Soli Collective. I got this in Sweden. You cannot see it, can you? Whoop. It's very pine kind of smelling. But I've learned that you can associate your mindset with a scent. So for instance, you could wear a specific anointing oil when you do meditation, and only when you do meditation. And maybe you do it before you shower so that you don't ever smell that scent other than when you're meditating. And then your mind will associate that smell with a meditative state. I know people that do some scents for studying, like when you're in college. And it helps your mind get into a place. And I'm sure that you've seen that in your own life. Like if your grandmother's house smelled a certain way and you only ever smelled that, and for some reason you smell it again in adulthood, you're reminded of all of the feelings and the memories of that place and time. Or if you know somebody, my grandmother always wore the same perfume, so her house growing up smelled like her perfume. And I've never smelled that scent anywhere else, so I associate her with that scent and that scent with her. Things like that. you can work with scents to focus your mind, to help you change gears. And some scents don't stay long. Like this oil will be gone in 5 minutes. My body in particular burns off scents. I usually have to put it in my hair if I want to wear it for perfume. I'm very warm. So sometimes you can move throughout your day and build a scent profile. I know people have done that, found it very successful and very therapeutic, and a good way to regiment their day through experiences. You can also just have little rituals. Like, I had a friend who would eat gummy bears when she was studying, and she would actually put them on 8 words every few sentences, so that when she got to them, she could eat the gummy bear to like reward herself for continuing reading these very dry textbooks. I know somebody else who would have her favorite tea when she was studying in law school. And she had the tea she liked, and she'd only have it when she was studying, again as an incentive. But you can also use it as ritual. You can make it fun and give yourself things to look forward to, insulate a whole experience around whatever it is you're doing, even if it's something you like doing. Like, you can ritualize cleaning and have specific scents and products that you use when you're cleaning, and that you decorate your house with, and buy fresh flowers for you. Things like that to just make your experience lovely, lovable, they're saying. The last 3 cards that came out are the King of Coins, which did come out upright. The bunny is important, and his little suit here. This guy does not have pointy ears, but this is definitely an elf. I don't know what that means. And then 2 more reverse cards. The 5 of Cups with a heartache, and looks like a loss. And they're actually these thorny looking ropes coming under his hand here where he's holding his heart, and up and back around. And the 9 of Swords, as he also came out in reverse. This is kind of what I was saying as I was looking down at these but not thinking what they were about. The upright card is the King of Coins, about really coming into your majesty and your succulence. That word's come up before. It's a very lush picture with all the green and the trees and the castle in the background and the water and his outfit. This is what they want you to embody. Like a fully integrated, beautiful part of the world, and nature in particular. The world as nature, not the other things on it. And they're saying these heartaches, it's an interesting combination of the heartache with the cups and the mental duress with the swords. Both are kind of grief, both are kind of stress and misery, but the emotions in the mind are somewhat separate. And in reverse, they're saying, don't go back to this. Do not return to what it was, because it's not that anymore. You have the choice not to go back there, but you do have to make it. Because you did grow up with the old paradigm, with the struggles, with the pain, with the hard lessons, and you have to choose your sovereignty, and you have to choose it regularly, and you have to love it, and you have to nurture it just like plants. And in many cases, it is a relationship with plants that will increase his sovereignty. He not only has the rabbit familiar, but on top of his staff there, you can see the one he's holding, there's a rabbit figure. Rabbits have always been very significant to me, as connected to the moon in my practice and connected to abundance. Rabbits come out in the spring. They're often found in areas with a lot of plants because they eat a lot of greenery, and they need a fairly healthy environment to live in. They're not the kind of animals that you find like in a city digging in a dumpster. They can't survive that. They're not predators. They're fairly short-lived. They're the kind of animals that need to exist in a full and functioning ecosystem where they can be safe and just do their thing. And that's kind of the point of what you're creating here. Now I'm noticing that there's these little things that look like snow in this picture. This is part of the reason that there's a time for stillness now, not just to give things time to grow and to mature and to change with the seasons, but to give you time to notice them, to take note, to have calm within you so that you can see it around you. Because when your mind is in turmoil, you don't notice the things. It's like there's a washing machine going in your head and it's really loud and around and around and around. And things can be happening right beside you and you won't see it because it's so distracting what's going on. And healing takes space. And that comes in the form of time, which you need to give yourself. And they're saying you need to view it in the long term, because there's going to be a lot of mistakes and there's going to be a lot of stumbles and there's going to be regressions. Like, you can't just wake up today and say, okay, I'm going to be healed. I'm going to be sovereign. I'm going to be amazing. You're going to have bad days. You're going to get triggered. You're going to act in a way that you didn't think that you would again. And it's part of growth. It's part of integration, and it's part of learning, because in meditation, it's not about clearing your mind and focusing on the nothingness. No one can do that unless they've been meditating for a very, very long time. But I was always taught that the importance is the reset. Every time your mind drifts, and it can drift for quite some time, depending on how long you're meditating for, but the point is to notice it and to reset back to whatever your focus of your meditation was. And there are lots of types of meditation where you have something to focus on that will help you. One of my favorites is the sound meditation, where you deliberately notice all the sounds that you hear, because that also gives you the awareness of what's around you. And you start to notice birdsong in places where you never noticed that there were birds, but there always were. Or you start to notice the hissing of machines in the building. Because the point of healing and of meditation, both, are present. To be fully here, not in the past, not in the future, although you can think about the future and plan for the future. You are not in it. You're not experiencing it. You're above it. You are the Queen of Swords, looking out over the clouds and making decisions, knowing that you will have emotions when the time comes, but that's not now. You don't have emotions about things that haven't happened now. And it takes a lot of growth to get there. However, you are in this time of new growth, and you are being gifted this ivy. In the house that I grew up in, the entire front of the house was covered in ivy. Looks just like this. I think there's only 2 kinds of ivy that grow here. They're very similar looking. But the whole house was covered in ivy. So I have a strong association with it to my childhood and to growth. And you are already sovereign as the Queen of Cups. These are things that you've passed through, all of them. You're here now. The wheel has turned for you. You're on the platform. Everyone else is just coming along. So now you have time to do what you want to do. Hang out. Get something else for closing. They keep saying enjoy it. Make sure that you enjoy it, because it doesn't matter if you don't. This time will pass. They're saying in particular, like, you will benefit from enjoying it, but you'll get no benefit from not enjoying it. So why not enjoy it? And as has happened before, our closing cards are the zodiac cards. Hermit's on the bottom though, which is Virgo. I've got Scorpio, came out upright. That's probably Mars. Although these red orbs keep reminding me of the sun these days because it keeps coming up as the symbol of joy in these readings. And Scorpio is in a bottle with it. I'm not gonna miss. It's gonna catch that orb. There's no way it can't. I just noticed there are other things. There's an arachnid that looks like a tarantula here. Centipede. There's a frog down here. I have not noticed those before. In this card, I'm always focused on the fire. Scorpio is Mars ruled. Mars is a fire planet, but Scorpio is water. And you see the Scorpio inside the bottle of water. You are uniquely designed and able to hold your emotions inside of fire, passion, anger, and great movement. Because when it moves, it's going to blaze. But you're going to be inside of all this work you've done. And the one that came out in reverse is Aquarius, the water bearer. In this one, the water's lava and it's on her head. Like a hat, very stylish. The time of Aquarius is not fully upon us yet. We're coming into it. It's revolving. Aquarius, however, is the artist listed here is Rain. Interesting. And a different artist did each one of these cards, so below the name of the card, it has the artist name. I tend to be drawn to these decks a lot with all the different artists. Aquarius is a water sign. It is not the water it bears, it is the bearer of water. And the importance of that is water being emotion can be overwhelming. That is the downside of the three water signs, Scorpio, Cancer, and Pisces, is they're prone to overwhelm. They're innately tuned to touching into their emotions, and their gifts lie in delving into emotions and expressing emotions and sharing emotions with others. However, it is always going to be hard when you deal primarily with emotions. So Aquarius has the unique gift that it can hold a vessel with the water, but it is the air. The air signs are very intellectual. Sometimes in shadow, they can be detached or distant or too analytical and critical. But in balance, they can step back and observe and see things logically because they carry the water. And that is the importance of the Aries age that we're in. I'm talking about where Pluto is, early stages, is that this carries all of the things that we've learned through these past generations and all of the technological advances and the globalization of civilization. And Aquarius is going to very logically and very carefully and coolly guide these emotions into productivity, into beauty. The three air signs are Libra, which is ruled by Venus, so it is a very aesthetic sign, although it tends to be more like the justice scaled aesthetic of like the beauty of a contract and the beauty of a system that works really well, and because you thought about it and everything is in perfect harmony and all the cogs fit exactly together and work without oil somehow, or like everything. That's kind of the Libra thing. And there's a great beauty in like the intellectual art. I think of like really good oration and poetry with Libra. Then you've got Gemini, who's the curious one. That's the mischievous character, back to Puck from the beginning. Mercury rules Gemini. Mercury is mischievous. He was the messenger. So he's also flitting around, getting everyone's gossip, sharing it with everyone else, but also carried bad news. Gemini doesn't engage. Gemini transfers. They carry the messages, but they don't make the rules, and they don't try to change it. Like, there are a lot of signs that if given a message they didn't like, they'd argue with it, or that they wouldn't deliver it, or they'd try to like get involved. But Gemini, out of necessity, simply conveys. And then the third air sign is Aquarius. And that's the builder. Aquarius is known for being both very odd and misunderstood and distant. Both Aquarius and Pisces, as the last two signs, can feel very alien to themselves. And interacting with them, sometimes there is something a bit different about them, but it's because they are the last two signs. Because they are the harbingers of change. So first it comes in the structural and the logical, and then Pisces brings it out fully with all of the emotions and creativity and the imagination. When I think of Pisces, I think of the film industry, of the kind of art that moves people and shapes civilization. The kind of thing that people turn to in darkness, but that also can form people's opinions about society because they go to it to relax. Pisces has a great imagination. And then on the bottom is the Hermit. As you come out of the darkness with all that you've learned. And the clouds make way for you. Take your time in your comfy bathrobe. I swear this looks like a woman and she's wearing a comfy bathrobe and she's got her hair curled and she's like, I'm going out to my little hut in the backyard with my fairy lights to read a book. Take time for you. This is your time for you as things shift and come into fruition. And this is kind of where you are in all of it. So they keep reiterating on all of these readings that whatever you see around you, whatever is happening around you, you are where you are. And you don't have to worry about other people's journeys for yourself, because you're where you are. You're not where they are. And only they can locomote themselves in this metaphor. You can't pick them up. So I will end there. I hope you're all doing well. I hope this resonated with you, and I love you, and I will see you very soon.